are some important SAT questions from the reading and writing module. Listen to the explanation for each question while looking at the printed question content. Underline or circle important words or information.
These are some important SAT questions from the reading and writing module. Listen to the explanation for each question while looking at the printed question content. Underline or circle important words or information.
These are some important SAT questions from the reading and writing module. Listen to the explanation for each question while looking at the printed question content. Underline or circle important words or information.
These are some important SAT questions from the reading and writing module. Listen to the explanation for each question while looking at the printed question content. Underline or circle important words or information.
These are some important SAT questions from the reading and writing module. Listen to the explanation for each question while looking at the printed question content. Underline or circle important words or information.
Important SAT questions group 2. 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 Question 1. Incorporated and unincorporated self-employment rates in 4 occupational fields. 2015 Occupational field incorporated self-employment Ratun incorporated self-employment Rati construction and resource extraction 414 8 installation, maintenance, and repair 276 2 management, business, and financial services 899 7 sales and related 5878 self-employed workers individuals who are not employees of other individuals or businesses but instead earn their income as business owners, independent contractors, or freelance workers make up an important part of the US labor force. In order to receive legal and tax benefits enjoyed by corporations, self-employed individuals may choose to incorporate their business. A 2015 survey of incorporated and unincorporated self-employment rates in 4 occupational fields showed that the highest incorporated self-employment rate occurred among people working in. Question 11 Answers prompt for Question 11. Which choice most effectively uses data from the table to complete the text? A. Sales and related occupations. B. Installation, maintenance, and repair occupations. C. Construction and resource extraction occupations. D. Management, business, and financial services occupations. You selected answer C. The correct answer is D. Explanation choice D is the best answer because it most effectively uses data from the table to complete the text. The text discusses self-employed workers in the US, and the table shows the US incorporated and unincorporated self-employment rates in 4 occupational fields in 2015. According to the table, the incorporated self-employment rate was 8.9% for the management, business, and financial services occupational field, which is higher than the incorporated self-employment rate shown for any other occupational field. Choice A is incorrect because according to the table, the incorporated self-employment rate was 5.8% for the sales and related occupational field, which is lower than the 8.9% for the management, business, and financial services occupational field. Choice B is incorrect because according to the table, the incorporated self-employment rate was 2.7% for the installation, maintenance, and repair occupational field, which is lower than the 8.9% for the management, business, and financial services occupational field. Choice C is incorrect because according to the table, the incorporated self-employment rate was 4.4% for the construction and resource extraction occupational field, which is lower than the 8.9% for the management, business, and financial services occupational field. Question 2. Water in the North Atlantic Ocean is pushed eastward by powerful winds, but the rotation of Earth and interference from nearby landmasses together cause to swirl into a massive, churning whirlpool also called the North Atlantic Gyre that spins clockwise. Question 21 Answers prompt for Question 21 Which choice completes the text so that it conforms to the conventions of standard English? A. Thesub, Thosic, themed, edu selected answer C. The correct answer is D. Explanation choice D is the best answer. The convention being tested is pronoun antecedent agreement. The singular pronoun it agrees in number with the singular antecedent water and clearly indicates that the water swirls into a whirlpool. Choice A is incorrect. The plural pronoun these neither agrees in number with the singular antecedent water nor clearly indicates that the water not another plural noun in the sentence, such as landmasses or winds swirls into a whirlpool. Choice B is incorrect. The plural pronoun those neither agrees in number with the singular antecedent water nor clearly indicates that the water not another plural noun in the sentence, such as landmasses or winds swirls into a whirlpool. Choice C is incorrect. The plural pronoun them neither agrees in number with the singular antecedent water nor clearly indicates that the water not another plural noun in the sentence, such as landmasses or winds swirls into a whirlpool. Question 3. The Coastal Futures Conservatory in Virginia is known for creating oral representations of ecological data. One such effort combines underwater audio recorded in seagrass beds with data that track rising carbon levels in the seagrass. As carbon levels increase, the audio is correspondingly distorted. Listeners can hear the changes in the carbon levels. Question 24 answers prompt for question 24. Which choice completes the text with the most logical transition? Question mark a dot furthermore b dot by comparison. C for instance, D thus, you selected answer C. The correct answer is D. Explanation choice D is the best answer. Thus logically signals that the information in this clause that listeners can hear, carbon levels increasing, is a result of the previous information about the audio distorting as carbon levels increase. Choice A is incorrect because, furthermore, illogically signals that the information in this clause merely adds to the previous information about the audio distorting as carbon levels rise. Instead, the listener's ability to hear carbon levels increasing is a result of that distortion. Choice B is incorrect because, by comparison, illogically signals that the information in this clause is being compared to the information about the audio distorting as carbon levels rise. Instead, the listener's ability to hear carbon levels increasing is a result of that distortion. Choice C is incorrect because, for instance, illogically signals that the information in this clause is an example of how the audio distorts as carbon levels rise. Instead, the audio was distorted for the express purpose of representing ecological data. The listener's ability to hear carbon levels increasing is a direct, intended result of the distortion, not merely an example of it. Question 4. As discussed by scholar Anna Mladentseva, many artworks produced in the mid-1990s to the early 2000s exclusively for exhibition on the internet, such as Siny Kim's Genesis 2001, have become inaccessible because viewing them requires the use of software, most notably Adobe Flash, discontinued in 2021. Question 4 answers prompt for question 4. Which choice completes the text with the most logical and precise word or phrase? A. Defunct, archaic, ubiquitous, extraneous. You selected answer D. The correct answer is A. Explanation choice A is the best answer because it most logically completes the text discussion of artworks that were produced for exhibition on the internet. In this context, defunct means no longer existing or functioning. According to the text, many artworks that were produced in the mid-1990s to the early 2000s for exhibition on the internet have become inaccessible due to their reliance on certain software. As an example, the text cites Siny Kim's Genesis, which relied on software that was discontinued in 2021. This context supports the idea that the software is defunct. Choice B is incorrect because the text indicates that viewing artworks produced in the mid-1990s to the early 2000s for exhibition on the internet requires the use of software. Artists generally want their works to be seen by many people, so it wouldn't make sense for creators of internet art to require the use of software that is arcane or known or knowable to only a few people. Moreover, the text states that a prominent example of software used to view these artworks is Adobe Flash, which was discontinued in 2021, meaning it's now defunct. Choice C is incorrect because ubiquitous would mean found everywhere, which wouldn't make sense in this context. The text indicates that the reason why many artworks that were produced in the mid-1990s to the early 2000s for exhibition on the internet have become inaccessible has to do with the software required for viewing them. According to the text, one example of such software is Adobe Flash, which was discontinued in 2021, meaning it's now defunct. Choice D is incorrect because nothing in the text suggests that the software used to view artworks produced in the mid-1990s to the early 2000s for exhibition on the internet is extraneous or irrelevant. Instead, the text indicates that use of specific software is required to view certain artworks from this period, and that the discontinuation of the software renders the works inaccessible. Question 5. The following text is from Anton Chekhov's 1898 short story, Ionich, translated by Marian Fell in 1915. The text is set in a Russian city referred to as the City of S. If newcomers to the little provincial city of S complained that life there was monotonous and dull, its inhabitants would answer that, on the contrary, S was a very amusing place, indeed, that it had a library and a club, that balls were given there, and finally, that very pleasant families lived there with whom one might become acquainted. And they always pointed to the Turkins as the most accomplished and most enlightened family of all. Question 7 answers prompt for question 7. What does the text suggest about the Turkins? A. They are relative newcomers to the city of S. B. They have a unique status in the city of SC. They have long disliked living in the city of SD. They are amused by the other residents of the city of S. You selected answer A. The correct answer is B. Explanation. Choice B is the best answer because it presents a statement about the Turkins that is suggested by the text. The text explains that while many pleasant families live in the city of S, inhabitants of the city consider the Turkins to be the most accomplished and most enlightened family of all. Thus, by indicating that they are seen as more accomplished and more enlightened than all the other families in the city of S, the text suggests that the Turkins have a unique status there. Choice A is incorrect because the text doesn't indicate that the Turkins have recently moved to the city of S. It provides no information about when the Turkins arrived. Choice C is incorrect because the text explains how the Turkins are viewed by others in the city of S, but gives no indication of how the Turkins feel about living there. Choice D is incorrect because the text explains how the Turkins are viewed by other residents of the city of S, but gives no indication of how the Turkins view the other residents. Question 6. Participative pricing, in which purchasers choose the prices they pay for products, can enable sellers to capitalize on the heterogeneous values consumers assign to the same goods and services, but doing so requires careful messaging. Annie Pankui and Jennifer Wiggins recruited 171 participants ages 18-60 online for an initial study and 83 students ages 18-31 at a state university for a second study to test the effect of 3 different messages: pay what you can, pay what you think it's worth, and pay what you want on how much participants would pay for concert tickets. Their results illustrate both the heterogeneity of consumer valuations and how sellers can benefit by prompting consumers to consider their own valuations. Question 11 answers prompt for question 11. Which choice most effectively uses data from the graph to complete the text? A. The students tended to value the concert tickets more highly than did the more age-diverse group recruited online, but when considering what they could afford to pay, the students tended to choose a lower price than did the other group. B. In all 3 messaging conditions, the group of participants recruited online tended to choose lower prices than did the students, but both groups tended to choose prices closest to the actual cost of the tickets when prompted to consider the ticket's value. C. The students tended to value the concert tickets more highly than did the more age-diverse group recruited online, but both groups tended to choose a higher price when considering the value of the tickets than when considering what they could afford or wanted to pay. D. Within each group of participants, there was wide variation in the value that individuals assigned to the concert tickets, but the students tended to assign a higher value to the tickets than did the more age-diverse group recruited online. You selected answer D. The correct answer is C. Explanation choice C is the best answer because it most effectively uses data from the graph to complete the text about the effect of messaging on participative pricing. The graph shows mean ticket prices chosen by participants in response to 3 messages across 2 studies. Study 1, which the text indicates was conducted with an age-diverse group recruited online, and Study 2, which was conducted with student participants. The graph indicates that in the pay what you think it's worth condition, the mean price of the concert tickets in Study 2 was about $74, which is greater than the mean price of about $55 in Study 1. In other words, when participants were asked to consider their valuation of the tickets, the response was heterogeneous, or mixed. Moreover, according to the graph, both Study 1 and Study 2 show higher prices for the tickets under the pay what you think it's worth condition than they do under both the pay what you can and the pay what you want conditions. That is, the data suggest that both groups of participants named higher prices when considering the value of the tickets than when considering either what they could afford or wanted to pay, a finding that supports the idea that sellers can benefit when prompting consumers to consider their own valuations when they choose prices. Choice A is incorrect because it contradicts information in the graph. Although the graph shows that students in Study 2 assigned a higher value to the tickets than did the age-diverse group in Study 1, which would support the idea that consumer valuations were heterogeneous, the graph shows that in the pay what you can what you can afford condition, the students in Study 2 assigned a higher price about $40, not a lower price, than the age-diverse group in Study 1 did about $30. Moreover, even if it were true that the students had assigned a lower price in this condition, it wouldn't support the result described in the text, only that the participants across the 2 studies had different ideas of what they can afford to pay. Choice B is incorrect. Although a finding that participants tended to choose prices that were closest to the actual ticket costs in the pay what you think it's worth condition would support the idea that sellers benefit by prompting consumers to think about their own valuations, since it's implied that sellers would lose money in the other conditions, where chosen prices were lower than the participants' valuations. Neither the text nor the graph addresses how any of the prices chosen by the study participants relate to the ticket's actual market price. Choice D is incorrect. Although the wide variation in participant valuations would support the idea that consumer valuations tend to be heterogeneous, neither the text nor the graph provides any information from which to discern the relative levels of variance among the responses from participants in either study. Question 7. Initially observed in 2017, the interstellar object Oumuamua is the first object of its kind to be seen in our solar system. Researchers have been puzzled because its acceleration cannot be entirely explained by the gravitational pull of nearby bodies. There must be a non-gravitational influence on its velocity and trajectory. Some previously suggested explanations for this non-gravitational acceleration involve mechanisms that are unlikely or unrealistic, such as geometric effects from Oumuamua being potentially composed of several spatially separated bodies. Now, Jennifer Bergner and colleagues propose that the non-gravitational acceleration is due to the gaseous expulsion of entrapped hydrogen from Oumuamua's water-rich icy body. Question 12 answers prompt for question 12. Which statement, if true, would most strongly support the claim made by Bergner and colleagues about the cause of Oumuamua's acceleration? A. Existing proposed models of outgassing from Oumuamua include the direct conversion of nitrogen or carbon monoxide from a solid to a gaseous state without becoming liquid, but these models have theoretical or observational inconsistencies. B. Oumuamua's trajectory is inconsistent with a non-gravitational acceleration that would be caused by the release of hydrogen gas resulting from the processing of water ice H2O. But the interstellar object's observable properties can be explained if it has a significant component of molecular hydrogen ice H2. C. Since non-gravitational accelerations of interstellar objects are several orders of magnitude weaker than gravitational accelerations, deviation from behavior that could be fully attributed to gravitational pull has been detected on a limited number of objects similar to Oumuamua. D. Exposure to interstellar cosmic radiation can result in the formation of embedded pockets of hydrogen gas in water ice. Moreover, when traveling through the solar system, Oumuamua experienced warming sufficient to alter its icy structure and allow for outgassing. You selected answer B. The correct answer is D. Explanation choice D is the best answer because it presents findings that, if true, would support the claim made by Bergner and colleagues that the non-gravitational acceleration of Oumuamua is due to the expulsion of entrapped hydrogen. The text first introduces the observation of a unique interstellar object named Oumuamua and goes on to explain that the object exhibited non-gravitational acceleration that could not be fully attributed to the expected cause, gravitational pull of nearby celestial bodies. The text concludes by stating that Bergner and colleagues claim that the non-gravitational acceleration is caused by expulsion of hydrogen gas from Oumuamua's water-rich icy body. To support this claim requires evidence that hydrogen gas could be present within Oumuamua at all, which this answer choice presents. Cosmic radiation can result in embedded pockets of hydrogen gas in water ice. Additionally, evidence that this gas can be released from such a body is required to fully support the claim, which this answer choice goes on to provide. Oumuamua experienced sufficient warming as it traveled through the solar system to alter its icy structure and release the hydrogen gas. Thus, this answer choice provides the best evidence to support Bergner and colleagues' claim. Choice A is incorrect because this answer choice concerns faults with previous models of outgassing from Oumuamua of carbon monoxide and nitrogen, which would not support a claim regarding hydrogen outgassing. Furthermore, inconsistencies in other models would not provide evidence in support of a different model or explanation. Choice B is incorrect. The evidence presented in this answer choice would weaken the claim proposed by Bergner and colleagues that the non-gravitational acceleration of Oumuamua is caused by the expulsion of hydrogen gas because this answer choice suggests that there is evidence that refutes this claim. Oumuamua's trajectory is inconsistent with the non-gravitational acceleration caused by the release of hydrogen gas. Furthermore, the remaining portion of this answer choice is unrelated to the claim. Choice C is incorrect because the claim being made by Bergner and colleagues concerns the expulsion of entrapped hydrogen gas, but this answer choice is concerned solely with the differences in magnitude of gravitational and non-gravitational acceleration, which would not support Bergner's claim. Furthermore, this answer choice discusses interstellar objects similar to Oumuamua, but the text states that Oumuamua is the first observed object of its kind in our solar system, so evidence from other, similar bodies would not be available. Question 8. Tatiana R. Feuerborn and colleagues analyzed the genomes of more than 100 domesticated dogs from sites in Siberia dating from 11,000 years ago to the present. They found that the dogs constituted a genetically isolated population of Arctic breeds until approximately 2,000 years ago, at which point there was substantial interbreeding with Near Eastern dog breeds. Furthermore, beginning around 2,000 years ago, some sites contain artifacts consistent with a Near East origin, like glass beads, but the people show no evidence of having traveled extensively outside Siberia. From this, Feuerborn and colleagues concluded that around 2,000 years ago. Question 14 answers prompt for question 14, which choice most logically completes the text? I. Dogs and artifacts like glass beads began to be transported from the Near East to Siberia. B. People from Siberia began to reach the Near East, where they acquired dogs and artifacts such as glass beads. C. Glass beads and other artifacts from the Near East began to be exchanged for dogs from Siberia. D. Dogs from the Near East began to be exchanged for glass beads and other artifacts from Siberia. You selected answer C. The correct answer is A. Explanation choice A is the best answer because it presents the conclusion that most logically follows from the text discussion of Feuerborn and colleagues' findings about sites in Siberia. The text states that genomic analysis of many domesticated dogs from Siberian sites dating from the last 11,000 years revealed that the dogs represented a genetically isolated population of breeds, that is, they didn't reproduce with dogs of any outside breeds until about 2,000 years ago, when there is evidence that the dogs began interbreeding with breeds from the Near East. The text also indicates that around the same time, the sites began to contain glass beads and other artifacts seeming to be from the Near East, even though there is no evidence that the people of those sites traveled widely outside Siberia. Because there is evidence of Near East dog breeds and Near East artifacts at Siberian sites beginning about 2,000 years ago, but no evidence of the people's travel to the Near East around that time, it's reasonable to infer that Feuerborn and colleagues concluded that dogs and artifacts like glass beads were transported to Siberia from the Near East, starting around 2,000 years ago. Choice B is incorrect because the text explicitly states that there is no evidence that the people of the Siberian sites 2,000 years ago traveled extensively beyond Siberia, which they would have had to do to reach the Near East. Therefore, it wouldn't make sense to conclude that the presence of Near East dog breeds and artifacts like glass beads suggests that people from Siberia began arriving in the Near East around 2,000 years ago. Choice C is incorrect because the text addresses the presence of Near East dog breeds and evidence of interbreeding with Siberian dogs and artifacts like glass beads at Siberian sites starting about 2,000 years ago, suggesting only that the dogs and artifacts started to arrive in Siberia around that time. The text doesn't suggest the purpose of the arrival of the Near East dogs and artifacts or give any indication of Siberian dog breeds being transported elsewhere through trade. Choice D is incorrect because the text addresses the presence of Near East dog breeds and artifacts like glass beads at Siberian sites starting about 2,000 years ago, suggesting only that the dogs and artifacts started to arrive in Siberia around that time. It doesn't suggest the purpose of this arrival and makes no mention of Siberian glass beads or other artifacts of Siberian origin. Question 9. A study showed that a solar park caused nearby land to cool, though the ecological impact of this temperature decrease isn't yet known. Before the park's construction, the surface temperature 30 meters outside of the park boundary was 1°C cooler than that of a control. Construction, the temperature 30 meters outside of the boundary was 17°C cooler than that of the control area. Question 15 answers from for question 15, which choice completes the text so that it conforms to the conventions of standard English? A. Area after. Area after. C. Area aftered. Area after. You selected answer A. The correct answer is C. Explanation. Choice C is the best answer. The convention being tested is punctuation use between sentences. In this choice, the period is used to correctly mark the boundary between one sentence before area and another after area. The phrase after construction modifies the next sentence to indicate that the temperature was cooler after construction. Choice A is incorrect because it results in a run-on sentence that fuses the two sentences before area and after area without punctuation and or a conjunction. Choice B is incorrect because it results in a run-on sentence that connects the two sentences before area and after area without punctuation and or a conjunction. Additionally, no punctuation is needed between after and construction. Choice D is incorrect because it results in a comma splice. A comma can't be used in this way to mark the boundary between the two sentences before area and after area. Question 10. Solarpunk is an art movement that imagines renewable energy-powered technology infused complementarily into nature. In Paolo Bacigalupi's solarpunk short story Efficiency, an artificial intelligence that absorbs sustainable energies, redistributing them through intricate networks of weights and generators. Chicago's energy grid. Question 17 answers from for question 17. Which choice completes the text so that it conforms to the conventions of standard English? A. Have been powering. Powerk, powers, are powering. You selected answer B. The correct answer is C. Explanation. Choice C is the best answer. The convention being tested is subject-verb agreement. The singular verb, powers, agrees in number with the singular subject, and artificial intelligence. Choice A is incorrect because the plural verb, have been powering, doesn't agree in number with the singular subject and artificial intelligence. Choice B is incorrect because the plural verb, power, doesn't agree in number with the singular subject and artificial intelligence. Choice D is incorrect because the plural verb, are powering, doesn't agree in number with the singular subject and artificial intelligence. Question 11. The Lim En technique, developed by Mexican-born dancer and choreographer Jose Lim En, is known for its emphasis on breath control and its interplay of weight and dancers may explore, for example, the moment of mid-air suspension at the top of a jump. Question 20. Answers prompt for question 20. Which choice completes the text so that it conforms to the conventions of standard English? A. Weightlessness. Weightlessness which? Weightlessness. D. Weightlessness. You selected answer A. The correct answer is D. Explanation. Choice D is the best answer. The convention being tested is the use of punctuation within a sentence. This choice uses a semicolon in a conventional way to join the first main clause, the lim en, weightlessness, and the second main clause, dancers, jump. Choice A is incorrect because it results in a run-on sentence. The two main clauses are fused without punctuation and or a conjunction. Choice B is incorrect. The relative pronoun which can't be used in this way to join two main clauses. Choice C is incorrect because it results in a comma splice. Without a conjunction following it, a comma can't be used in this way to join two main clauses. Question 12. Observing that a fire in a closed container soon went out, leading 18th century scientists did not conclude that fresh air, specifically oxygen, is necessary for combustion. Instead, many theorized that the container's air had become saturated with a substance called phlogiston. When Joseph Priestley first isolated oxygen gas in 1774, he termed it dephlogisticated air. Question 22. Answers prompt for question 22. Which choice completes the text with the most logical transition? A. In other words. B. For this reason. C. Alternatively. D. Nevertheless. You selected answer C. The correct answer is B. Explanation. Choice B is the best answer. For this reason logically signals that the reason Joseph Priestley termed oxygen dephlogisticated air was that he accepted the theory mentioned in the previous sentence that the presence of phlogiston, rather than the absence of oxygen, causes fire in a closed container to go out. Choice A is incorrect because, in other words, illogically signals that the information about Priestley terming oxygen dephlogisticated air is a restatement of the previous theory concerning phlogiston. Instead, Priestley chose the term as a result of this theory. Choice C is incorrect because, alternatively, illogically signals that Priestley termed oxygen dephlogisticated air as an alternative to the previous theory concerning phlogiston. Instead, Priestley chose the term as a result of this theory. Choice D is incorrect because, nevertheless, illogically signals that Priestley termed oxygen dephlogisticated air despite the previous theory concerning phlogiston. Instead, Priestley chose the term as a result of this theory. Question 13. While researching a topic, a student has taken the following notes. Marcela Guerrero is a curator at the Whitney Museum of American Art in New York. She curated the Whitney's 2018 exhibition Pacha, Lacta, Wasache, Indigenous Space, Modern Architecture, New Art. This exhibition featured works by 7 emerging Latino artists. She curated the Whitney's 2020 exhibition Vida Americana, Mexican Muralists Remake American Art, 1925 to 1945. This exhibition included nearly 200 works by 20th century Latino and Mexican artists. Question 26. Answers prompt for question 26. The student wants to describe the exhibition that Guerrero curated in 2018. Which choice most effectively uses relevant information from the notes to accomplish this goal? A. Held at the Whitney Museum of American Art, the exhibition Vida Americana, Mexican Muralists Remake American Art, 1925 to 1945, included nearly 200 works by 20th century Mexican and Latino artists. B. Pacha, Lacta, Wasache, Indigenous Space, Modern Architecture, New Art, an exhibition at the Whitney Museum of American Art, featured works by 7 emerging Latino artists. C. In both 2018 and 2020, Marcela Guerrero curated exhibitions at the Whitney Museum of American Art in New York. D. While one exhibition that Marcela Guerrero curated featured works by emerging artists, another included works by 20th century artists. You selected answer A. The correct answer is B. Explanation choice B is the best answer. The sentence describes the 2018 exhibition Guerrero curated, noting that the exhibition, which was titled Pacha, Lacta, Wasate, Indigenous Space, Modern Architecture, New Art, featured the works of 7 emerging Latino artists. Choice A is incorrect. The sentence describes the exhibition Guerrero curated in 2020. It doesn't describe her 2018 exhibition. Choice C is incorrect. The sentence emphasizes a similarity between the 2 exhibitions Guerrero curated. It doesn't describe her 2018 exhibition. Choice D is incorrect. The sentence emphasizes a difference between the 2 exhibitions Guerrero curated. It doesn't describe her 2018 exhibition.